All right, get ready, everyone, because we are going deep into 2025 tax brackets, and we're going to be talking about what's new, how it all hits your wallet, and some smart moves to make. So think of taxes like a giant layer cake.
You know, like that. Each layer is a different income range, right?
Yeah,
And just like with cake, the higher you go, the higher that tax rate gets on that part of your income.
exactly. It's like if you know how to work these layers, it's like a secret weapon, for your money. So what's the IRS doing for 2025? Any big changes coming?
Well, the IRS, they adjust those tax brackets for inflation. They do that pretty much every year. It's how they fight bracket creep, Imagine getting a raise, but it barely covers the rising cost of, well, everything these days. And then you're hit with a higher tax rate. Ouch. Right. Those adjustments, that's what they're designed to prevent.
Got it. So the IRS, they're trying to keep things fair with all this inflation and everything. But what about when Congress, throws a curveball? New laws can really shake things up too, huh? New legislation. It can definitely tweak those brackets, and you really got to stay informed because what we know today about 2025, well, it might look pretty different down the road.
So it's like a double whammy, the IRS adjusting and then Congress potentially changing things up too. Okay, so let's talk about how these changes, for 2025, how they actually impact people. What's it looking like for different income levels?
Well, for those who are on the lower end of the income scale, those IRS adjustments, they might actually see a bit of a smaller tax bill. Middle income earners, they could see some small shifts, some good, some not. It all just depends.
What about those in those higher brackets? Are they feeling the heat more?
They might be, especially with potential legislative changes. It really just highlights how important strategic tax planning is. Doesn't matter your income level, there's always a smart move to make. Okay, so let's get into some of those smart moves. Everybody loves a good tax saving tip. What are some of those? What are some of the things people can do to try to, maybe lower their tax bill?
One classic one is maxing out contributions to your retirement accounts. Things like your 401ks and IRAs. It's a win-win. Mm-hmm. You're saving for later, and you could lower your taxable income now. It's like a nice tax deduction Sunday.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. And don't forget about those tax credits. Those are it's like getting a direct discount on your taxes.
Exactly. And there are credits for all sorts of things, like making your home more energy efficient, right? So you could be helpful to the planet and your wallet.
No, itemized deductions. I know those can seem a little scary, but sometimes they're really worth it, aren't they?
Yeah, they can be. If you have a lot of deductible expenses, like your mortgage interest, charitable donations, medical bill, things like that, and they're over a certain amount, then itemizing might save you more than taking the standard deduction. It's like choosing the scenic route on your tax return. Might take a little longer, but the view could be worth it.
So it's all about finding what fits your situation, like a tailored suit, but for your taxes.
That's a great way to put it. And then don't forget, staying organized is key. Keep those receipts and track of all those deductible expenses all year. Nobody wants to be scrambling at the last.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. Organization is key for everything. But let's be real for a sec. Taxes can be complicated. Sometimes you just need an expert,
Oh, absolutely. That's where a tax professional comes in. They can help you figure out all those tricky parts of the tax code, make sure you're taking advantage of every opportunity. Think of them as your tax Sherpa. They're guiding you to the top of the mountain, finished an amazing tax return.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered those IRS adjustments. We talked about Congress, and we've gotten into some planning tips. But the world of taxes, it's always changing, isn't it? What's the best way to stay ahead of it all?
Staying informed, that's key. Tax laws, they're like a moving target, so it's smart to follow the financial news or join a tax planning group or something. It's like having your finger on the pulse, ready to adapt.
So it's like knowledge is power, especially when it comes to taxes.
Absolutely. By staying informed, you can adjust your financial plan as you go, and you can take advantage of new things or minimize any impacts from changes like maybe tweaking your investments or your retirement contributions, things like that can make a big difference.
Being proactive, that's really what matters here. It's like having a secret weapon for your finances. Now, here's a question a lot of people might be wondering. Does knowing your specific tax bracket actually matter for your everyday decisions about money?
It really can. Think about if you're considering a big purchase, like a new car or maybe renovating your house. Knowing your tax bracket can help you kind of estimate what the tax implications might. It's like having X-ray
Okay,
vision
now
for your
that's a
finances.
superpower I want. So it's not just about making that tax bill smaller at the end of the year. It's about making smarter choices all year round.
Exactly. It's about understanding how taxes, fit into the big picture of your finances. And that's what we're all about here on the deep dive. We're giving you a deeper understanding so you can feel
Well
confident and
said.
in control
Now,
of your
before we
money.
move on, is there anything else our listeners should know about taxes in 2025? Any last bits of wisdom?
Here's a thought-provoking question to think about. How can understanding those 2025 tax brackets help you kind of align your financial goals with your personal values, right? It's not just about making that tax bill smaller. It's about shaping your financial future in a way that reflects what really
That's a really
matters to
great
you.
point. It's about using all of this knowledge to build a financial life that you actually love.
Exactly. And that's where the real power of financial knowledge comes in. It's about using what you know to create a life that's not just good financially, but also
That's a great
also
point. It
fulfilling
really is.
personally.
All right, everyone. We've talked about a lot today, from those tax brackets, like we said, like a layer cake, to why it's so important to stay informed and really think ahead, think strategically.
Yeah, and don't forget, knowing your tax bracket, it's just one piece of the puzzle, when it comes to your finances. But it's a really important piece that can have a big
And
impact
the
on
good
your
news is there
overall
are
well-being.
so many resources out there to help you figure this all out. We always tell people to check out the IRS website, the official one, to get the latest info.
And of course, talking to a tax professional, someone qualified, is always a smart move, especially if your finances are
Yeah, they can really give you
a
that
little more
personalized
complex.
advice and help you come up with a plan that's just for you.
Absolutely. So as we start to wrap up this deep dive into the 2025 tax brackets, just remember,
And when it comes to
knowledge is power.
taxes, that power can mean real savings and a brighter future for your finances. Now, before we say goodbye completely, we want to leave you with one final thought, something to maybe spark your curiosity or inspire you to take action.
We've been talking about how important it is to stay informed, right, about changes to taxes. But here's a challenge for you. Think about, how can you be more than just informed? How can you really get involved in shaping those tax
Wow,
policies
that's
that
a really
affect
powerful
you
question to
and
end
your
on. It's a good
community too?
reminder that we're not just, along for the ride with all of this. We have a voice and we have a role to play in shaping the future of our finances.
Exactly. So to all our listeners out there, go explore, get involved, and
And
remember, the
until
world
next
of taxes
time,
is
happy deep
yours to
diving.
navigate and influence.
Yeah.
We, but wait a sec before you go. We've been talking about federal income tax, but we can't forget about those other parts of the cake, those state and local
And
taxes.
that's a great point. It's like a whole other layer cake on top of the federal one.
Right. And those state and local taxes, they can be so different depending on where you live. Yeah, exactly. Some states, they don't even
Yep.
have an income tax at all, while others, they have, these progressive systems
So it's
that
like
are
it's like
similar to
having a
the
whole bunch
federal
of
one.
different
And
tax
then there's
recipes,
property
depending on
taxes
where you
and
are. We
sales
really need a
taxes.
good
Those can really
guidebook.
add up too. It's true. And that's where that
It's
whole
all about
staying
being,
informed thing comes
a
in,
good
right?
financial
It's
detective.
really
You
important
got
to
to know
know
the
that
rules of the
the
game,
specifics for
no
your
matter where you're
state
playing.
and your local area.
Yeah.
And remember, even though it might seem uh,
So
complicated,
listeners, if
there's
you're
help
feeling a
out
little
there. A good
overwhelmed with
place
all
to
this
start
tax
is your
talk,
state's
take a
Department of
deep
Revenue
breath.
website. They
You're
have
not
all the info
alone.
on local taxes.
And
We're
you
all in
never
this
know,
together. The
you
key is
might even start
to be
to,
proactive,
kind of
to find
appreciate
good
all the
information, and
complexity
don't be afraid to ask for
of the
help if you
tax
need it.
system in a way.
Maybe, but at the very least, we hope this deep dive has given you more confidence and maybe made you a little more curious about your taxes.
And remember,
'Cause,
even though
with the right
we're
information,
at the end of this
you can
deep
turn those
dive,
tax
the
challenges
conversation
into
doesn't have
opportunities.
to end here. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and share what you're learning with others.
Because, when it comes to finances, we're
So until
all in
next
this
time,
together. The more
happy
we all
navigating
learn
the world
and
of
share with each
taxes.
other,
It's
the
like
better
we
off we'll all
found like a
be.
secret level in this whole tax game. Who knew there was so much to it? But hey, you know what they say? Knowledge is power. And now we're all ready to like bake a really awesome financial plan, right? Hmm.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about becoming some kind of tax expert, overnight. It's about taking it one step at a time, staying curious.
That's a great way to put it.
And just building up
So
your confidence
as we
with your
wrap up our
finances,
deep
the
dive
one layer at a time,
into
like we
all
were saying with
things
that cake.
2025 tax brackets, let's leave everyone with some final words of encouragement, some parting words. Mm.
Here's what I would say to everyone listening. Taxes, they might seem really complicated, but trust me, you got this. With the right resources and a little bit of effort, you can figure it out. You can
Couldn't have said it
navigate
better
it all,
myself.
and you can create a
So
financial
to all
future
our
that
listeners out
really
there,
matches
keep
your
keep
goals and what
exploring,
you
keep
value.
being curious, and never stop learning. Until next time, happy navigating the world of tech.